as it adds more of relevant countries and relevant economies into its fold. Coming back to the current G7, we have seen already some body languages which seem to indicate the schism. There has been the eye rolling between the Italian Prime Minister and the French President. There has been visible body language friction between the US President and the other leaders of the other G6 countries. It's also interesting to note that that we have countries with over $1 trillion economy joining in, and I'm not talking about just India, but we have Mexico and a few other countries as part of the discussions that are going on in G7. It's also interesting that while the G7 was happening, we had the eruption between Israel and Iran, which has prompted the US president to leave in a hurry. Now, if you look at how the Israel-Iran conflict has unfolded, it just seems that Israel has kind of scripted it because it went around systematically degrading the allies of Iran across the region. It hunted down the Hamas. It hunted down the terrorist organizations in Lebanon, the Houthis, and so on and so forth. And after degrading these allies of Iran, it then went in for the kill with Iran. Clearly, a nuclear-armed Iran is not something that Israel can live with. In fact, the next step would have been an Iranian nuclear bomb falling in Israel. That's something that Israel is well aware of. We are also acutely aware that Israel had offered to India to hit the Kahuta reactors in Pakistan, because Israel was very clear that those reactors are going to be used by Pakistan to make nuclear bombs. And that's exactly what Pakistan did. So Israel was prescient in nipping at the bud an Islamic bomb, and that's what the Pakistan bomb is being called now. And they've done exactly the same with Iran. And clearly, it would not have been possible without the tacit and maybe overt support of the Americans. Also, the arsenal of the Iranians are deep buried in one of the hills, and for which you would need arms and armaments and what's called the MOAB, the mother of all bombs, which only US has. And even the delivery for that bomb is the B-2, which only the US has. And therefore, without the US intervention, it will not be possible to completely take away the nuclear capability of Iran. And I think all of that was brewing up in the G7. I'm sure the other G7 countries were aware of what was going on, given their intelligence sharing and given their own intelligence network that they have. So it's interesting that in spite of all of this going on, they chose to meet at this point in time, and what unraveled in terms of the conflict in Middle East. And also given that from the voices we hear from President Trump and from the Israeli Prime Minister, it seems that it'll be a long-drawn conflict. And Israel is already in a conflict for the last 2 years. It seems to be having the appetite to take this conflict forward to finish out what it believes is its enemy number one, which is the Iranian regime. And therefore, they're looking at a regime change. And at the opportune time, we had the former Shah of Iran also making noises in terms of what he believes is the regime change that's coming up. I'm not entirely sure whether the Shah of Iran will have acceptability in Iran, but that's what all the power seems to be moving towards, which is a regime change in Iran, with the G7, the rest of the G7 countries becoming mere lookers to what's going on.
All right. Mr. Mehta, Mr. Bhattacharya, appreciate you joining us and sticking around for this important